recording. Hi, everyone. This is the Dani and Pat show. That's Dani, and I'm Pat. And we've been friends for over 40 years. We've learned a few things, and we want to share those things with you. And today, we are talking about how to support someone with a mental illness and let you know that it's not that hard. There's a lot that you can do, but really it's the smaller things that count. I will disclose that I do live with a mental illness. Um, Maybe I'll get brave enough before we end this recording to tell you what it actually is.
Mm.
But I do as well as I do because of the support network that I have, that people have taken the time to learn how to support me and help me move a little more gently through life. Yeah. And Donnie, you have experience with this.
Yes, have a family member who actually lived with me for a time. At This person is an adult, um, and I believe they're um living with an undiagnosed illness, mental illness. And when they lived with me, Uh, I really wanted them to uh, seek treatment, get diagnosed and get treatment, because they would say that they had problems dealing with the world, right? Um, but had not been, before they came to live with me, they had really not been very well supported. One of the things we used to talk about, he and I, was that, uh, if somebody had like a broken arm or something, right, you would not expect them to, with that broken arm, build a house, right? You would not have that expectation. And that what he was experiencing was like a broken arm, but for his mind, right?
Yeah.
For his mind. Um, and I don't feel like I did as much for them as I wanted to do. Um, and they ultimately just ended up leaving. Uh, it was kind of like poof, they had just left. I didn't know they were leaving, but they were gone. And for a long time, I didn't even really know where they were. So, yeah, I wish I had been able to do more, but I also know that when they came to me, they needed a place to land
Yeah.
that was safer than where they had been. Yeah.
That,
But I was glad that I was in a position to do something
yeah,
for them, even though it, from my side, felt inadequate. Yeah.
I I will tell you that what for a long time I was undiagnosed. Uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I just thought I didn't know I didn't know what I thought was wrong with me, but
Hmm.
I knew I seemed to always be struggling.
Hmm.
And there were times when people gave me a place to be, and that kept me out of harm's way. And
Hmm.
that was huge
Hmm.
because people with mental illness are at a much higher risk to be hurt in a lot of ways.
Right. Right.
So even if all you can do is let somebody sleep on your couch and then they have to, maybe leave for most of the day or something. It's hard in situations where people don't know what's going on, like the person with the illness doesn't understand or won't listen to
Mhm.
that,
Mhm.
and won't seek help. But if you can help somebody feel safe, they might uh, be more inclined to listen to that and maybe seek some help.
Mhm. That was my hope. That was
Yeah.
my hope. Yeah.
And you may you may have to do the research. You may have to bring them and say, hey, there is you can get on the waiting list for free counseling, or
Oh
you can
yeah.
get,
Yeah.
yeah,
We did all of those things. And
yeah,
I think for me the frustration was that I did those things because I've been in the nonprofit world for a
right,
long time, right? I
yeah,
know, as particularly where I live, I know what the resources are. Uh, and I really put them in front of him and offered to do things to make it easier, but they weren't ready, right? They were not ready to do those things. I mean, they just were not ready. And that was
yeah,
an important realization for me, right? To understand that they just weren't ready to take those steps.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember at one point, um, I did seek help,
Hmm.
and but I was afraid to say. I called a hotline, but I
Hmm.
was afraid to give my name. And I said, well, I'm calling for a friend,
Uh-huh.
which probably the person on the other end knew I was lying.
Right.
But they
Right.
asked me my name, and I said, well, I'm calling for a friend. And they started yelling at me.
Wow.
Yeah, they got frustrated and yelled, and I just hung up.
Wow.
What I really needed in that moment was somebody with some kindness, somebody who could be gentle with me, just to guide me through that moment. I mean,
Mhm.
988 is a phenomenal resource.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I would say to everybody, if somebody's doing bad and they just need to get grounded, call 988. They don't send somebody to the house.
Hmm.
They just make sure that the person is safe in the moment. They give them a safety plan. Maybe they can talk to you afterwards about what the safety plan is.
Right.
But unless it is really critical, please don't threaten somebody with going to the hospital, because that is a horrible experience
Yes.
and
Yes.
it keeps a lot of people from seeking help. There's a huge
Yes.
difference between I feel like I'm dying or I want to die and actively having a plan. There's a huge difference.
Yes. That's
And
right.
and they both come out of a lot of pain,
Hmm.
but if you're in the moment, and I need to say this is especially true for people of color, because the treatment
Oh, yes.
is is very different. People, black and brown people are not treated well in the mental health system.
Mhm.
It is criminalized anyway,
Right.
but
Right.
then you know, oh, you add the element of not being white. So,
Right.
and the stereotypes uh, um, of of black and brown people and anger. People come in with that, and so they look at a situation and they see that instead of upset or somebody,
Right.
it's
Right.
not,
Right.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the black and brown people in this country is all I can really speak about, but we are the receptacles of the larger society's stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's not uncommon for uh, the emotions and the struggles of black and brown people to be misread or dismissed, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's kind of true of the health system in general, but you're right, particularly in the mental health system, because you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Anybody who presents themselves to that system is making themselves very vulnerable. Um, and, I think the more that the people who want to support someone with an illness, with a mental illness, the more that we can really understand uh, the pitfalls of that system,
Yeah.
the better you can support them. Because there, for the most part, at least where I live, you're not going to just have a walk-in situation, right? Right, where you
Right.
can just walk in somewhere, somebody's going to talk to you, they're going to no, really. You have to make appointments and get
Yeah.
referrals and this and that and
Yeah.
that and this. Um, and I think once someone, I don't know from I know from my relative, once that system touched him the first time, he didn't want anything to do with it
Right.
after that, which I totally understood. Um, so me understanding that meant I wasn't going to pressure him. I would say to him, please go talk to someone who knows, who can help you understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
Um, but he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Um, so I had to let it go. It's like, okay, you can't. But one of the things that was really telling to me was that the people around him before he came here, um, they were pressuring him to get a job or get in a training program, and I'm thinking, but why? He can't, he's not in a position to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So to me it was just like it wasn't hard to help him as much it was hard for me to not to feel like I wasn't being effective
Yeah.
helping him. That was the hard part. That was the hard part. Yeah.
Well, when we love someone and we know that they are hurting,
Yeah.
we want to ease that in some way.
Right.
But I would say, um, if they won't get help, if you can start a conversation and asking them, I'm not saying diagnose, I'm not saying be a counselor, but if you can start a low pressure conversation, maybe trying to ask them what they feel like they need, what might help them.
Mm-hmm.
Like if
Mm-hmm.
they're upset, if they get really dysregulated,
Mm-hmm.
and some small things, breathing deep does really help. I mean,
Right.
it's amazing.
Right.
And if you can, if they're not putting you or your family or property or anything in danger, if you can not give up, because
Mm-hmm.
society has probably given up on them, and probably, and the other thing that when you try to get help, what people, a lot of people in the mental health field will, especially if you are poor, will treat you as if you were trying to get over. They
Oh,
will treat
mhm,
you
mhm.
as if you're just, trying, because we also criminalize being poor.
Right. I mean, I was going to just say, all of the help giving, help seeking systems in this country do that.
Right.
They all do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I don't have anything else that I think will be helpful for me to say. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, I think the thing to understand for everybody is that uh, it's not as hard as it looks and may appear to be. Um,
Right.
and different people have different illnesses and they need different things. That's a good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Um, and that it's okay to feel frustrated
Yes.
because you're probably going to feel frustrated
Yeah.
because it's probably going to be a frustrating situation when you're trying to help somebody who has a mental illness.
Yeah.
Um, but that's okay. Frustration
Right.
is it's just another feeling. You can live through it and with it.
Yeah.
And do what you can to know what resources are available. And I know
Right.
that we're currently living in a time where resources are being withdrawn,
Yeah.
which will make it harder for folks, but still try to know what's there
Yeah.
that someone might be able to access that will help them.
Yeah. And just one last thing, a lot of times when people are struggling like this, they forget that people love them. They give
Oh,
up on themselves
yes.
and they may not know how to love easily. It doesn't mean that they don't. They may lose the ability to really do that well just for a while.
Right.
They can get it
Right.
back. Yeah.
Right.
So,
I hope folks got something positive and useful and constructive out of our conversation. We would really love it if you would leave us a comment, um, talking about maybe your own experience or what you would have liked to have done or seen or had done for you. Um, and we do want to mention that we also have a Substack uh, that we haven't really pushed out very much, but it's there. It's the Dani and Pat Show. You can find it on Substack, um, where those articles help to flesh out our conversations. Um, I think that's it. If you would be so kind as to hit a like, and if you're not subscribed, please do. We would love to have you as part of our little growing community. And we will be back next week with another conversation that we hope will be helpful for you. Um, yeah,
all
until next
right.
time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.